Hello everyone, you welcome back to this very channel. We hope that this channel have been sharing wonderful videos, tutorials for you, and you've got value. If you've gotten value on this channel, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button and also give us a like as you follow us for more updates, and click on the notification button to be updated on our subsequent videos. Now that we're done with our patterns, we have our next patterns ready for our work. Pick our materials. We have our embossed material and our plain material for our shoe, where we've cut them, giving an allowance for folding and also under the allowance as the pattern was indicated for our shoe. You can see the quarters and the center apron and the back strap all ready for the next process. As a result of some technical issues that we encounter during the recording of this very project, the skiving operation was carried out off camera. The purpose of the skiving is to help in terms of folding and also overlapping allowances, so that we'll not have bulkiness on our shoe. That's one of the purpose of skiving. Now this is our lining. We'll apply adhesive on our lining and also on the quarters as well as the apron where there is need for folding, and also attaching where we'll now go ahead and stitch them together. Now that we're done with the application of adhesive, it's time to fold the components. We started with folding of our back strap. We will now go to the quarters and also fold them where needed to be folded, as well as folding of the apron. It's time to pick the components and close them together with the use of the stitching machine. Let us go to the stitching machine and have something wonderful as we prepare our upper ready for lasting. The first thing you will do is to stitch the back parts of the material together, that's the quarters, and after that we apply an adhesive that will be able to open it inwardly. Then we'll now also attach the main back strap together. The closing operation is one of the largest operations carried out in shoemaking. So shoemaking, when you talk about closing, you talk about skiving, you talk about trimming, you talk about application of adhesive. All the major aim is for you to have an upper that is ready for lasting. It's not only about stitching. When we say closing room, all these activities are being carried out there. Now we're stitching the lining also together to secure them with the use of thread and the machine. In our design, our tongue is also stitched, so we're going to stitch our tongue as well. It's more of a decorative stitch on the tongue before attaching it to the main upper, because the upper is more of an Oxford design, so the tongue comes separate, unlike that of a Derby design. The back strap is ready and the quarters are ready. It's time to attach the apron to the upper. Apply adhesive, a little adhesive that will just hold it together, and attach the apron. On the apron, we still need, because the material is very light, we need a reinforcing material that will make it thick. So now we've just cut a reinforced material made from textile. That's a fabric reinforcement that will not stretch, just a normal fabric without elasticity, and attach on the apron. The aim is to make the apron stronger and thicker to reinforce the apron. Now let's go into the lasting process. Since we're done with our upper, the first thing is to skive your back stiffener and make sure everything is intact that will be able to fit in your shoe. We'll now go into the back part molding. The back part molding consists of you inserting the stiffener and attaching it to the upper by pulling it to take the shape of the last. You can use the back part molding machine, but all this is in the absence of using the back part molding machine. You can use your last to back part and to mold the back part of the shoe for your lasting process. One of the reason why you do your back part molding is to have a good shape on the back part of your shoe as you last. While there are other ways also you can last your shoe. You can last your shoe before attaching your stiffener. It all depends on the method you adopt. But in this case, we'll insert our stiffener first before we continue the lasting process of this very project. Note again that when I was attaching the stiffener, I didn't attach the stiffener flat on the upper. Please note that I actually followed the shape inwardly of the curve of the shoe to attach it. So it took the shape of the stiffener because it was a pre-molded stiffener. As you can see, this is the shape you will get after your back part molding. Now the lasting proper. First, you now attach your insole. Earlier, we only do the back molding without the insole. Now we're attaching the insole into it. After attaching the insole, we now start our lasting. I want you to take note of the 5 cardinal points of lasting in this very process. Maybe in subsequent video, I'll take time to portray these key points as you do your lasting. The first point is the toe part of the last, where you pull your upper and tag with the first nail. Close to that same point, you pull this edge also. As you do that, you are checking to centralize your upper. This is the second point, close to the toe. You tag with nail, go to the other part, the left side as well. Do the same thing. Then you come to the ball, the git point, the 2 ball points. You also pull over and tag it with nail. You discover that these are the 5 key points you need in your lasting journey. Before you go back to the back part, then you add either number 7 and number 8, making 8 cardinal point. But the major 5 point is the toe to the ball point of your shoe. Then you now also come to the back part. When you get those points, you have the foundation of a good lasting. All you are trying to do is to make sure the upper is laying flat on the last. If you do, you now continue with the other parts by pulling and making sure it is flat on the last. But don't forget the 5 cardinal points: the front part of the toe directly, then the 2 edge of the toe, then the 2 ball points. These are key positions of lasting a shoe by hand. Since lasting is a game of pulling the upper to make sure it is properly lasted, now the first one, I pull them with the lining together just to have a foundation and to have the positioning. Then now the second part, I'll now loose from the front part, open them together again onto the ball point where I stopped earlier, the 5 cardinal point, and now put the lining alone in this time. This time the lining is now pulled over again with more tension, creating more tension rather on the last, so that you can have a very good, firm and secure shoe. Leather shoe, the more you pull, the more it helps in retaining the shape of your upper, and you have a very good shoe that will be of good use to the wearer and comfort. Also, our top buff needs to be buried in between the upper and the lining, so we have to open that front part to be able to continue our lining process. That's why it was not completely stick together with adhesive. To have a very good bonding and lasting, you need to also trim your upper. Is very necessary. So when you have excess material, you have to trim it off in order to have a good folding allowances. So the allowances might be excess, might be a little bit okay, but you have to check the allowances as you trim as well, so that you don't over trim or you under trim. Any of this can affect your lasting. After securing it with your nails, you now apply adhesive to cover it up together. I want you to know that this very method, this is what we call the stuck on cement or cemented method of construction. This is where you use your stuck, or you can use your staples as well to do that. In the advent of technology, there are many other options that you can use that will be able to make your work easy. Many people now adopted the use of staples. I'm also thinking about using that, because sometimes using the techniques can be a little bit stressful at the end. So staples can go a very long way to help. Very soon I'll get my own staples. As I've said, there are different methods of you lasting your shoe. So now I focus more on the lining rather than the upper while coupling the part of the shoe. I'm trimming the excess portion of the stiffener to make it conform to the back part exact, so that it should not be too much. Too much of it will make the work a little bit untidy at the back part. That is the reason. So I'll do that before covering my back part of the shoe. Then also attach the top of the shoe as well. And this very project will be using the thermoplastic top off, where I'll be heating it. Because of the thermal conductivity, you have to heat it to be able to be flexible enough. Lasting process is very interesting. It's more of a pick and twist, inwardly and outwardly, to be able to have a very good cover up. And the aim of reducing those excess material is to help you that as you twist, you not have bulky material. When you have bulky material, you will not be able to cover it properly. That is why you trim all those excess material that are available. Sometimes I actually don't like using the thermoplastic stiffener because of how hot it could get. If you are not careful, you need your protective equipment in order to do that. So in my own case, I use water to be at least a lubricant for me so that it will not burn me. So you have to be very, very careful and extra careful when doing that, because when it dries, it will dry off and stay completely. But when it's hot, when you touch it, it burns your hand. So you have to be careful. You are expected to use a glove that will be a lubricant on your hand to reduce the pain or the pressure you get. That is one thing about handmade. Handmade, you have a lot of things that you do. But mostly, I prefer using the fiber stiffener, because the fiber stiffener, I don't need to use any power source. That's, I don't need to use the heat in order to do that. I only use my roughing machine and I rough it or skive it through, and that will be it. Now we have a lasted upper. The next thing is to bottom fill the lasted upper. Because of the groove that is creating in the middle part, we will need them to be even and smooth before attaching our sole. This will go a very long way to protect our wearer's foot so that the shoe will not be sinking instead because of that small opening. So what I'll be using here is the Marco, that's EVA material, the microcellular material, EVA3. Instead of using the cork, because cork is not available, so this is the only option I have to use. Instead of, in place of the cork, they also serve well. The next process you are seeing now, you might be wondering what I'm doing currently. This is simply a local way of heat setting your shoe, especially when you are using a direct flame, because it's not advisable to use direct flame when you heat set. I use the water to lubricate it from having a direct bond on the upper, and the upper is made of leather, and leather appreciates when you heat it. It stretches the fiber, the protein in it stretches, and it makes your shoes to retain its shape after being lasted. Anticipate our subsequent video, which I'll be talking about heat setting extensively and why it is done. We have reached a high point of our video, which will be attaching the sole. Please just remember that if you've gotten value from our channel, I want you to leave a comment on the comment section. You have any question or you have any addition you want us to improve on, just leave it on the comment section as we attend to you, and we hope that you've gotten value. Don't forget to like our page and click on the subscribe button,